What's a realistic way for an average person to become rich? The best advice I ever received in my life. Get good at doing something wealthy people need, and you will always have work. The guy who told me this fixed air conditioning on yachts. No one who can afford a yacht is going to put up with the A/C not working on it, no matter what the current economic situation is like. Can relate to this. I do custom copper and specialty roofing. I have guys from mason landscapers, carpenters, etc. asking if I have a good amount of work. They are always shocked when I say I'm booked out to 1/2 years. When wealthy people need/want work done, they don't think much about it. Well, I got hit by a semi-truck, lost a leg, and got a multi-million-dollar settlement. Your experience may vary. Early in my career, I worked for an investment firm, and we had a client like that. She'd been in a car accident and won a very large settlement. When she hired us, she explained that she knew we were a fiduciary and wouldn't steer her with bad investment advice, but she also knew that her family was going to suddenly start wanting money. And she wanted to be able to blame her finance guy for refusing to do it. She was a very smart lady. For the rest of my career with that company, we fielded requests from various siblings, cousins, etc., asking for money to pay for crazy shit. We dutifully said no each time, and she thanked us profusely in private meetings later for being the bad guy and helping her get along with them. Of course, it was her money all along. If she directed us to pay for such requests, we would have, and probably lost the relationship eventually. But she held firm, and we understood our real job was to say no. That's how she kept her money and family intact. Realistically, it takes a long time. You're gonna need a job that allows you to make more money than you spend. Invest at least 20% of that money into index funds, high-interest savings accounts, certificates, etc., consistently and frequently, and let it grow over decades. If you do this and max out your 401 contributions, you'll eventually become a millionaire and have enough to retire. How do you become rich sooner as an average person with an average job? Have rich parents that pass away. This should be the top. Whether or not you studied it in school, educate yourself on finance. I know many blue-collar folks who are millionaires in retirement because they saved and invested wisely. Sure, they may not have been millionaires until they were 50, but after investing properly for 25+ years, they did it on average salaries in the US in low to mid-cost of living areas. Enrich yourself with education and learning new skills, friends, family, and new life experiences, like learning about new cultures or trying new foods. The more open and curious you are, the wealthy you will become in more ways than one. It depends on how you define being rich. If you're looking at it from being financially secure where you're comfortable, you have to earn more than you spend. If you're looking at it from becoming financially independent, then you'll need to save, invest, and work. If you're looking for FU money, start a business. If you're looking for FU money, start a business. It's high risk, but also the highest reward. A buddy of mine started a mobile analytics company and ended up cashing it out to the tune of 8 figures. The founder of the company I currently work for started the company with just him sitting in his apartment. The firm is now worth north of $1 billion. Of course, for every story like these, there's a dozen people that started their own business, and it ruined them financially. Happened to a couple people I know. But yeah, if you want to be rich, starting a successful business is what you need to get there. Have a business myself. I see so many people absolutely ruin their lives. They all do the same, borrow so much money, and pretty much make nothing with their investment. At the end, they are stuck with the bill and no assets. The problem with business is that any that are low initial investment are being done, and unless you have some kind of edge, are likely going to be done better than you can. Once you get into high investment stuff, a lot more space opens up for you, but of course the fall back down is much harder. Hard to start a local butcher's shop when you've been a butcher for 8 years, and the main butchers in town has been there 50 years by the same guy, etc., etc. In general, the most likely path looks something like this. 1. Identify a lucrative career path relative to the amount of training investment college, trade school, apprenticeship, etc. required to become proficient, and identify it early. In the US, software engineering used to be a slam dunk. Now the trades are very in demand. Plumber, HVAC technician, electrician, things like that. 2. Work hard to excel in the training needed to become proficient. Study hard in college, work hard and learn well in an apprenticeship. These are years of investment. Don't spend too much time not investing in yourself. That being said, you can still have lots of fun when you're young. I'll talk a little bit about debt later, but if you can avoid going into too much student debt, do so. Don't go to an Ivy League if a state school will get the job done too. Get as many scholarships as you can, and there are a lot of random ones out there. 3. Spend a good amount of time trying to shop around for a good job or position for your skills, solid wage, good benefits, especially a good retirement program. Learn some negotiation skills so you can try and haggle your way into a little more during interviews. Learn how to interview so you become comfortable doing it, as you'll want to do it often to see if any better prospects come through. 4. Work hard at your job, but don't be married to it. Leveraging your current position and experience to launch you to a better, higher paying, better hours, better benefits, what have you, position is a big part of wage and career growth. Interview, even when you're comfortable, just to see what comes up and whether you could reasonably switch. My FIL-in-law is a very successful software engineer and project manager, and he interviews for jobs as a hobby. Frightens me. But he also has had a very successful career, and went from basically average wealth to being decently wealthy around retirement age. 5. Save. Save way more than you think. Go all out on your 401k, as much as you're allowed or as much as your company matches. The more money you save in growth areas, the more will come in from interest. Maintain a sizable emergency fund for months of expenses if something happens, but keep it in something that can grow, but still be fairly liquid, so you can get a return on it. 6. Budget religiously. Know exactly where your money comes from and where it goes. If it seems like something is eating up too much of your budget, fight to reduce it. Like getting in shape, you need to measure exactly what your inflows and outflows are, so that you can control them and use them to your advantage, not the other way around. 7. Be okay with used and subpar goods for a while. We all want the newest model of the hottest car or what have you, but if taking the more run-down but ultra-reliable used car that will last you another 10 years means you can save more and not be saddled with hefty new car loans and leases. This can even translate to getting off-brand cereal instead of name brand, or shopping a sale instead of just getting the best thing. Is it a huge difference? Of course not. Your choice to get a Starbucks latte or get fresh avocados for your toast almost certainly isn't going to make or break your chances at wealth, but a lot of little things like that can add up, part of why budgeting is so important. Identify what you can reasonably do without or make do with a substitute, and do so. 8. Be patient. For the majority of people, wealth growth is slow. It's entirely possible for most average citizens to become wealthy, but in virtually all cases it's not going to be fast. Asset growth over long time horizons is what we're aiming for, which is also why the guy driving next to you in a shiny Corvette looks like your old uncle from the Midwest. It is extremely difficult and requires insane luck or wealthy, pushover parents to become wealthy when you're young. 9. Don't take on debt if you don't have to. Student loans, for example, is a useful debt. If you're using it to become a doctor, that's an awesome investment. But taking in a loan for a new car when an older but reliable Honda will do is not a good choice and could take away from your saving power. Use debt as a tool, but treat it like a very sharp knife. Can cut through some problems easily, but can also hurt you. That's the basic path. It's also the ideal. The corollary to this is that the reality for a lot of people is sometimes wrenches are thrown into the works, layoffs, health crises, family crises. Part of my belief in a social safety net is that it should serve as a way to hoist people back onto this path if life pushes them off. But for the average person, this is the path to wealth, slow, steady, and disciplined. Do you have any good ways to get rich? Leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more daily uploads.